So thank you very much to be with the ARY News. For the last 3 years, US Commission is asking State Department to include India into the CPC countries.
Before I talk about India, let me also note that the State Department has granted a waiver in regards to the CPC status to Pakistan for a good number of years. And so they have not instituted any sanctions against Pakistan despite the calls by my commission for them to do so. But India's situation is also, frankly, just horrible, and it's trending in a worse and worse direction. We're very concerned about the communal violence in India. I mean, we've seen attacks on Muslims, we've seen attacks on Christians. The situation for Sikhs and for Jains is getting more and more, and untouchables getting more and more dire. The Hindu nationalist mood in the country is unfortunately squeezing out the space for religious freedom, and so we're very concerned about that country.
So in India also not providing visas to US commissioners to visit there?
That's a very good question, Mr. Ali. In fact, we are very, very much disappointed that the Indian government seems resistant to grant visas to the commission to come and investigate the situation on the ground in India. If we can have the facts directly, if we can talk to the people directly, that's what makes our work so accurate. And so we encourage the Indian government to invite us to do a visit.
So I've seen your tweet like a couple of weeks ago in which you expressed your concerns about the threats Sikh activists are facing here in United States and in Canada.
One of the things that's most concerning right now about India is what we call transnational repression. And so India is not only squeezing the space for religious liberty for religious minorities within India itself, but we're, as you say, increasingly seeing India's efforts to repress religious Indian diaspora, repress religious freedom within the Indian diaspora around the world. And so the situation in Canada, the horrible assassination, that's clearly something we're very concerned about, as well as the situation here in the United States, the attempted assassination.
It's the Indian Constitution. I was reading that they term Sikhs as Hindus. They don't want me to follow their own religion.
Again, a very good question, Mr. Ali. In fact, the way that we understand religious freedom, people should be free to name for themselves what their faith is and to practice for themselves what their faith is. That it's not the responsibility of government to interfere in individual self-determination of what they believe, of what God they want to worship. That is fundamentally an individual choice, and that's what we stand for in this commission. I'm reluctant to name names and to speak specifically about Mr. Modi, but I would say that we're very concerned about the actions of government, the government of India right now. For example, one of the things that we're currently very concerned about is the Citizenship Act, as it relates to Muslims in the country and perhaps other religious minorities as well, which could essentially turn refugees from Muslim countries or Muslims who, for one reason or another, don't have documentation of their identity, could turn them into stateless people. Very concerned about that situation, but I don't want to specifically speak about it. I'm concerned that the State Department has been so slow to realize the situation on the ground that we see in India, and I join my colleagues on the commission in calling on the State Department to name India as a country of particular concern in this next go-round.
MBS is trying to change the things in Saudi Arabia?
I think MBS is trying to change things in Saudi Arabia? Absolutely. I mean, it's clear that his government has engaged in serious efforts to improve the human rights situation for its people there, and I'm encouraged by that. But Saudi Arabia, too, is a country that has a ways to go in regards to religious freedom. And for now, I support the rest of my colleagues in identifying Saudi Arabia as a country of particular concern.
How do you see the situation in Pakistan?
The U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, which I chair, has really since 2002 identified Pakistan as a country of particular concern. And our concerns really throughout this period have been about the situation for religious minorities in Pakistan. These include Christians, Ahmadiyya, Hazara, and even the Afghan refugees that were there, as well as smaller religions like Zoroastrians and so forth. So we're concerned about their situation. One of our biggest concerns is about the blasphemy laws, which have been used really quite broadly, to imprison a number of people in Pakistan. And so we're very concerned about the blasphemy laws, and would encourage the Pakistan government to abolish those laws. We think they fundamentally compromise religious freedom. In addition, we're also worried about communal violence. So accusations of blasphemy, even before they go to courts, as you know, have resulted in, I think 80 or so deaths just in the last 20 years in Pakistan. We've seen this happen to Hindus, we've seen this happen to Christians, so we're very concerned about that. And so we will continue to identify Pakistan as a country of particular concern. I expect this year, unless something dramatically is different.
So, what is the response of Pakistani government when you talk to them? Did they allow you to go there to monitor the ground realities?
So the good news is that Pakistan, in fact, is open to my commission to visit there, and we are looking forward to a visit, perhaps if not this year, then next year, to visit the country and to talk to some of the people on the ground to get a first-hand account of what the situation is. But we also rely on reports that come from the United States Embassy there. We rely on reports that are identified in international news, and we're very careful about making these accusations. But we are aware of more than a dozen incidents just this year that are of great concern to us.
Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Oh, Mr. Ali, it was delightful.